Are you making these huge mistakes when you stock your pantry? Well, most people think that stockpiling means just buying in bulk, but that's not really the secret that you need to make a truly useful and budget friendly pantry. So, let me show you some tips and we can make sure that you're doing it the right way. The first tip is you got to get organized, okay? And I know that those like aesthetically pleasing, Instagram worthy, fancy clear plastic or glass jars are all the rage right now, but really that's not essential. You just need a system that works for your family and for your space. Okay. So you may have to get creative in how you store stuff. We currently store all of our unopened cereal boxes above our kitchen cabinets. You know, that space where you've got like 2 feet between the cabinet and the ceiling just happens to be the perfect spot to put cereal. Now, I could put my cereal in my pantry or in my my cabinets, but it takes up so much space. And we only open like 2 to 3 different cereal boxes every week. So this way I can keep them out of the way, but I can still visually see them. I actually arrange them by expiration date. So that way I make sure that we are eating the oldest cereal first without letting it go stale or bad. Now, that's just one of our ways of getting creative. There's lots of ways, but you really have to look at the space that you're working with. I've heard that people use like their hall closets, they store overstock under their beds. I've seen that where you put like the little tension rod in your bathroom and it can hold stuff up there. So there's lots of different options there, but you got to figure out a system and get organized before you really start stockpiling, or else you're not going to know what to do with all this stuff. Now, this really comes back to what we were talking about in another video about the different phases of meal planning. And I'll put a link below so you can go check out and find out what style or what phase of meal planning you're in. But when you are stockpiling, we are going to go to the grocery store with small lists. Okay. And because at this point, we are no longer purchasing a ton of items for our meal plan this week. We're really just focusing on maybe a few items to fill in our meal plan. And we are looking for deals because going out and stockpiling at full price is not a way to save. We are going to make a small grocery list for what we need this week. And then we're going to start a stockpile list. These are items that we want to stockpile. And we're going to wait and we're going to be patient until they are at their best, lowest prices. And then we're going to go do that. And this is when we can really focus on a good deal and a good price. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit more later. Okay, so I don't know about you, but if you don't know your prices and how much something typically runs or what the normal price is, it's going to be really difficult to save money on these items long term. Okay, now hubby and I, we're a little nutty. We can quote prices for almost every food item in our house. And sometimes these are based on the past prices that we've paid, and other times they are based on a value that we assign to them. Okay, so there's a difference there. Now, first example is we typically like to eat chicken breasts. Okay, and we want to stock up on them when they are under $2 a pound. Now, I may go up as high as $2.49 a pound if I am completely out of chicken breasts or we're just kind of running really low and we haven't seen any good prices. And I may just buy like one or two to kind of limp us along until I get that better price that I want. But remember, we were talking about that cereal and that we have it on the top of our cabinets. Well, we currently have probably 20 boxes of cereal, which is a lot. That's, 4 or 5 months worth. So we are not going to buy any more cereal unless it's under $1 a box. And then it's usually kind of a fun cereal, to be honest. But now, when we have very little cereal, we may go up as high as like $1.50 a box because this is really how much value that we place on that cereal. It's how much it is worth it to us to buy that cereal. Now, in the grand scheme of things, nobody's going to die if they don't have cereal. So it's not exactly like an absolute need. This definitely falls into our want category. But we have small kids, they eat it for a snack. We eat cereal a lot for dessert or just for a quickie meal kind of thing. So, yes, we like it. And so we place a value on how much we feel it is worth. And then we will only spend up to that amount. So, this is something that I can't tell you what the local prices in your area are. I cannot tell you what your stock up prices are. You have to do the work and actually do that. The next tip is you really have to know what exactly you will use. Okay. And this one's kind of twofold. The first part is we really need to know what common ingredients we use regularly. And like for my family, I mentioned the chicken breast. That's what we prefer. Now, we also prefer canned petite diced tomatoes. That's just a little bit smaller cut. We eat white rice and we usually typically have canned vegetables. So those are all the items that I'm going to be likely to stockpile because I know that we use them regularly and that we're going to keep liking them, we're going to keep using them. Now, the second part is to know how many of these items you will typically go through. So for us, that means we typically use either 1 to 2 diced tomatoes per week. We use them in a ton of different dishes. You may have noticed that if you've seen our menus. And so I know that if I wanted to have 3 months worth of canned tomatoes, that I would need about 12 to 15 cans. That would be 3 months. Why 3 months? Because typically sales go in cycles and it's not always exactly 3 months, but typically items go on sale in the grocery store about every 3 months. And if you're not sure right now about how much of an item that you regularly use, it's super simple. Just start kind of keeping track. You can go grab a sheet of paper, you can, put it on a magnet on your fridge. But I just want you to first make a list of all the items that you know that you use all the time. And then I want you to kind of go back to maybe your past meal plans or keep track of the next couple weeks meal plans and kind of get a feel for how often you use those items. And I even go as far as tracking how often we go through mustard and ketchup. And I can tell you that we go through ketchup a lot because I have 2 young kids. We also typically go through things like ranch dressing pretty frequently. So those are all on my stock up list. So there you have it. Those are my top 4 essential tips for stocking up your pantry and your freezer. Now, getting organized, keeping grocery lists small, knowing your prices, and understanding what exactly your family will actually use to build a stockpile, that's what's going to save you time and money and stress. Now, I'd love to hear from you. So let me know down in the comments, what are some of the items that you keep in your stockpile? What are the items that you use all the time that you really could save some money by having these on hand? Now, if you found this video helpful, go ahead and subscribe for more tips on meal planning and saving money, and then hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.